Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for coming. My name is Richmond, and the founder of Zeus Project, and today I'm here to talk to you about generative AI, the bold new frontier. So the Zeus Project was founded in 2022, and our main aim is to deploy satellite connectivity to developing communities using renewable energy and blockchain technology. So one of the problems we found was that not a lot of people understand, these new technologies like AI and blockchains. So we had to come up with a way to kind of visualize the technology to make it a bit easier to explain. So we decided to create these art pieces that you see here today, just to use as an educational tool to be able to inspire people, to create art and also applications. So today, I'll be talking to you about some of the experiences that we had while developing these art pieces. Okay, so we're going to kick it off with a quote from Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, that says, "We can't do computer graphics anymore without artificial intelligence. We compute one pixel, we infer the other 32. So when questioned about what he meant by that, he said, well, it takes a lot of energy to create one pixel. So you can imagine how much more energy it would take to create the other 32 pixels. So instead of that, we create one pixel and then get the AI to render the rest of the 32 pixels to make videos or games." So that leads us straight into the AI development race. As I'm sure you're all aware, all countries, well, most countries in the world, and so many organizations are hot on the heels of AI to try and develop the most advanced version of AI that they can. This is evident from companies like Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, planning to invest $400 billion in AI hardware research and development. About $150 billion of that money is going to NVIDIA to continue the development of their H100 GPU. Excuse me. Of their H100 GPU graphics card, which costs about $30,000 each. Despite the high price tag, countries like Saudi Arabia and Meta have placed huge orders. If you've been following the news, I'm sure you know about XAI acquiring about 100,000 pieces of those just to build an AI data center in the USA. So with all these going on, it is clear that Google's Genie text-to-game AI and OpenAI text-to-video engine Sora, due to be released in November, is going to demand a lot of GPU power from data centers. Okay, so over here, this is a scale of, in a way, like compared to like the attention span of humans, where some people may have a lower attention span, some may have higher, and depending on that, they may be able to do multiple things at once. The same applies to AI, and that is measured using the maximum multitask language understanding. Clearly, as you can see, GPT-4 is ahead of everyone else because it's the most powerful AI that we know about. But then a surprise entry was Mistral, which came in, I think, about within last year, and it's been developed in France. And that has proved really great performance compared to the other AIs that have been around for a while. Okay, so just to give you a sense of how advanced these AI systems are becoming, here's a prompt for Sora AI that goes photorealistic close-up video of two pirate ships battling each other inside a cup of coffee. And in a moment, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, and as you can see, the AI already understands the physics engine and fluid dynamics to be able to simulate this scene. This program will be released, I think, in November. For now, only a handful of people have the chance to to try it out. Okay, so here we've come to the point where I'm going to try and talk you through how we built our own LLM AI engine at home. With this example, we're going to go with Llama 2, which is a generative pre-trained transformer AI that provides offline, private, and self-hosted chatbot experience, just like ChatGPT, except with this, the data never leaves your environment. It stays within where the language model is. So the artificial intelligence is powered by Llama 2's 70B large language model and is fine-tuned to 300,000 instructions, which is capable of generating about 3 words per second, depending on the power of your system. Okay, so what does it take to build a system like this? We're going to look at the hardware and the software requirements. The minimum requirement for CPU is Intel i5 chipset. However, if you want to build a really high-performance version of it, then you need to be looking at Intel Xeon, the server version of the processor. The minimum RAM requirement is about 8 gig. But again, if you want to achieve those 3 words per second, then you need to be looking at 32 gigabytes or above. I'm sure there are some servers that can take about 120 gig and above. You need about 100 gig of space to be able to download the entire LLM onto your machine. And the good news is that you can run it on both Linux and Windows. Do we have some guys here who have Linux or run Linux in the house? Yeah? Okay, so for you guys, it'll be much easier to install this. You don't need to do too many modifications. However, if you have a Windows system, then you can virtualize the AI on a Windows system, so you don't need to modify your system. Okay, so what do we need? What kind of OS do we need to install this AI? We need Linux Ubuntu version 22, also called Jammy Jellyfish, because I guess it's much easier to remember. If you haven't got a Linux system at all and you want to build one, then you need to download the ISO image and then make it into a bootable disk. And then from there, you'll be able to install Linux onto your bare metal. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, all you have to do is just virtualize the system. You can install VMware on Linux. It's a little bit of a complex process, but it can be done. But then it's much easier on Windows. So I would say that would be the easiest way to install one of these. Okay, so now that the system is installed, all you need to do is just open the terminal, type in that one line of code, and then that's it. You just leave the system to unpack all its dependencies, and then once it's ready, it will tell you that the software is installed. So this is a container. I'm sure most of you will be aware of Docker containers. Lots of developers use it, to run applications. This is a Docker container session. Okay, so once the program is installed, it would look like this. To access it, all you need is the IP address of your machine, .local, and then you'll be able to access the program. You can access this program anywhere on your network. So upstairs, downstairs, on the Wi-Fi, on the LAN, you'll be able to access this program. From there, all you need to do is just create an account and a password, and then go into the App Store, and then you'll be able to install the Llama GPT. Alternatively, if you don't want to modify your system, and you have a Windows system, for example, then you can just install VMware, and then grab the ISO file from GitHub. The only difference between this and the previous one is that you need to set the advanced settings to boot from EFI instead of the BIOS. And again, like before, all you need to do is just create an account and password, go into the App Store, and then you can install the Llama GPT. Right. So once it's installed, when you launch it, it would open a session in its own socket, and then you'll be able to ask it anything you want. I mean, you can ask it basic questions, or you can ask it complex questions. The only thing I have to say about this one compared to other AIs like ChatGPT is that you need to come to it with either partially formed or fully formed ideas. Otherwise, it would prompt you for more context. Right, okay, so now that we've finished installing the system and can access it at home, what else can we do with it? We'll be able to access the system anywhere in the world using a program called Tailscale. And this program is available in the App Store on the node that you install. All you need to do is just go in there, install it, configure it. You can authenticate with Google and then be able to delegate access to other people. If you want your friends to use it, for example, you can delegate access to them. It is resistant to hacks and traffic snooping. Right, okay, so now we're going to talk about how we leveraged this system to create the art pieces that we see here today. I'm sure those of you that have had a go at creating AI art would find that it is not super, easy. I mean, initially when we started, we thought it was easy, but then once you start getting into it, you can find it to be quite challenging. And also identifying the systems that you need to be able to build the high quality AI art can take some time, sometimes weeks. It took us weeks to months to be able to get all the tools that we needed to be able to do it. But the great thing is that AI can help you conceptualize any idea you have. So even if it's not a fully formed idea yet, you can still prompt the AI and it will help you conceptualize the idea. We found a way to reverse engineer the prompts in a way that would give us exact pinpoint prompts to be able to create these art pieces. And we'll talk about it shortly. So our journey really began when we tried to create the gods of Greek mythology. I'm sure most of you are aware of the most popular ones, Zeus, Poseidon, and this was Hera. So initially, we started with this prompt that said, Queen of the goddesses and wife of Zeus, she inflicted madness and the 12 labors on Hercules, usually depicted in a garden with peacocks. So when we entered this prompt in, we obviously were naive at the early stages. We thought we're just going to get this amazing art. But then it turns out that it wasn't as simple as that. We had characters all over the place. For example, the peacocks, some of them were all over Hera's face, Hera's body. You couldn't really see her. So after weeks of trying, it got to a point we nearly gave up. And then we left it for a bit, just to think about it. And then I came up with an idea that, okay, so if these AI systems are advanced and have so much knowledge packed in, I'm sure they'll be able to query each other. So I decided to get this prompt to one of the smaller AIs, like Llama 2 and ChatGPT, and then I asked it to give me the prompt to create Hera. So it gave us specific prompts that we were then able to give to Midjourney AI, which is the main art generator. And we managed to get this image of Hera. As you can see, we got some really good detail in this one. And also, we were able to tell it to, bring the output out to look like an oil painting. That's one of the things that you can do when you prompt in these AIs. You can tell it exactly what you want. So the prompt we had, we didn't need to modify anything, and we got the art just as is. Okay, so how do you stay up to date with the evolving AI space? A great way to do this will be to sign up to Rundown AI. I think they release news bulletins every other day, sometimes every week, and you'll find all the new tools that have been built, some really great ones, even for developers, so code editors and all that. You'll be able to get it straight into your inbox, and then you can test it out. Another great way is to join the communities. on Discord, for example. So if you're working on a project and maybe you get stuck somewhere and you need some help, usually you find that there are experts in those projects who will be able to point you in the right direction or give you some assistance to complete your project. So we did a similar thing with Runway ML. So we joined their community. We told them about the art pieces. Initially, we tried to animate it ourselves, but it was okay, but it wasn't the best. So one of the guys in the community who is like really expert at it decided to help us with the animation. So we managed to animate this one over here, which is the egg of Aurora accent. So in the end, we managed to animate the eggs. This is the first one that we've done. We're hoping that in the future we'll be able to do more of the animation of the eggs. Okay, that ends my presentation. I welcome any questions. Thank you so much.